About human relationships, most people believe that love is proven by running after someone. We chase them. We send the first message. We repeat our feelings again and again, thinking that if we express ourselves the right way, they will finally understand. But when the person has an avoidant attachment style, chasing does not create closeness, it actually pushes them away. Because for the avoidant, love has always felt like something heavy, something that takes away their space and comfort. So the actions you think show care and devotion are the same actions that trigger their biggest fear, the fear of losing themselves in another person. When you stop chasing, something powerful starts to shift. The whole energy changes. You stop moving with anxiety and start standing with quiet self-respect. And that silence, your silence, turns into the strongest message you could ever send. You are no longer saying, "Please see me." You are saying, "I see myself." That single shift changes everything. Avoidants are not cold or heartless. They are not unable to love. They just learn to survive emotional closeness in a different way. When they were growing up, many avoidants experienced love as unstable or conditional, something that needed to be earned, something that came with hidden rules. Maybe they had to act a specific way to receive affection, or maybe the love they got was overwhelming, inconsistent, or confusing. So they learned to pull away when someone got too close. Not because they don't care, but because closeness feels like losing control. Now imagine what happens when you stop chasing someone like that. You remove the emotional pressure that kept them guarded. Suddenly they are not fighting for their space. They are not protecting their independence so tightly. They are not preparing themselves for emotional demands. They finally get room to breathe. And in that open space, something new appears: awareness. Your silence becomes their mirror. It gives them time to feel, to think, to notice what is missing. For the first time, your connection does not feel like a duty. It feels like a choice. And that matters because avoidants want one thing more than anything else: emotional safety. They want to know they can be close to someone without disappearing into them. When you stop chasing, you are not leaving them behind. You are showing them what safety really looks like. You are showing them that love does not have to chase to be real. It can exist quietly, gently, confidently, without fear or desperation. Psychologically, what happens inside them is quite interesting. The avoidant nervous system reacts to space with curiosity, not pressure. When you step back, you stop triggering their stress response. Instead of seeing you as someone trying to control them or box them in, they begin to see you as a source of peace. That calm pulls them closer in ways words cannot. The silence becomes magnetic. It is one of the strange paradoxes of human connection. When you stop needing someone, they start to feel safe wanting you. And that is when they begin to notice the small things: your calm presence, the lack of drama, the steady way you can walk away without anger. That quiet strength becomes unforgettable because deep down, avoidants do not trust emotional chaos. They trust consistency. And your silence is consistent. It is steady. It draws a boundary without ever speaking it. What you are really saying is this: I am not here to control you. I am not here to push you. You are free to come when you are ready. And that kind of freedom is exactly what the avoidant heart craves. It lets them move toward love at their own pace. It gives them room to feel safe without feeling trapped. There is something almost poetic about that, isn't there? The idea that love does not need to be proven loudly. It simply needs to be felt. Real connection does not force itself. It invites. Through your silence, you teach them that love does not need to shout. It does not need to chase. It can whisper and still be strong. That is emotional growth of a rare kind, because staying silent is not easy. Pulling back is not simple. Stopping the need to prove yourself takes strength. But in that quiet space, transformation begins for both of you. When you stop chasing, you take your power back. You start to understand that love is not about convincing anyone to stay with you. It is about knowing your worth does not depend on whether they do. You begin to realize that silence is not emptiness. It is clarity. It is the space where truth rises, and in that truth, you see something important. Your value was never tied to how hard you worked to be loved. It was always in how deeply you could love yourself. And here comes the unexpected twist. The moment you let go, the avoidant starts noticing your absence. Not because you punished them, but because your energy shifted. You stopped trying to control how they saw you. You stopped trying to manage the story or force the connection. And that lack of pressure, that calm, is what finally gets their attention. They begin to feel the space where your energy used to be. And they realize that your love was never the issue. Their fear was. That becomes the turning point. Silence does not just end the chase. It ends the false idea that love must be earned with effort or pain. It teaches both of you what real love should feel like. Freedom without fear, closeness without control, space without disconnection. So if you have stopped chasing someone who avoids intimacy and you're wondering what to do next, the answer is simple. Stay still. Let your silence speak. Let your steady energy show them that love does not have to fight to be real. Because sometimes the most powerful "I love you" is the one that is never spoken loudly, but felt quietly in the spaces between words. One of the hardest truths in relationships, especially with avoidant people, is that your love, no matter how true, can sometimes feel like pressure to them. You can be gentle, patient, sincere. Yet, if you keep trying to fix the distance, they do not feel cared for. They feel cornered, and here is why. For an avoidant person, love that demands emotional performance feels unsafe. It reminds them of every moment vulnerability brought them pain or letdowns. That is why the most healing message you can offer an avoidant is not "I love you, please open up." It is "I see you, and I am not here to fix you." Those words lower their guard because they carry something rare. Acceptance without any hidden purpose. You are saying, "I understand your struggle, and I am not trying to change who you are." That is a different type of love. It connects deeper than emotion. It touches the nervous system. Think about how an avoidant feels closeness. Their body reacts to emotional intimacy like it is a threat. It is not that they do not want love. They absolutely do. But their whole being has learned to link love with losing safety. So when you try to fix them or constantly prove your love, you end up feeding their fear without meaning to. They begin to feel like they are being pulled into something they cannot control, and that is the exact moment they distance themselves. Not because they stopped caring, but because they are trying to breathe again. But something gentle and beautiful happens the moment you stop trying to fix them. You give them permission to exist exactly as they are. You tell them, you don't have to perform to make me feel secure. And that is where real connection starts. Not when someone changes to earn love, but when they finally feel safe to be themselves. Strangely, that is what begins to change them. Acceptance opens doors that pressure slams shut. That is the truth most people miss. Avoidants do not run from love itself. They run from emotional pressure that pretends to be love. They want to know that even when they are imperfect, they are still respected. So when your energy shifts from trying to break down their walls to simply standing by peacefully, they start to soften. You become the one person who doesn't make them feel wrong for needing distance. That does not mean you accept neglect. It means you stop begging to be noticed. You start noticing yourself instead. You lead with understanding instead of fear. You speak less and pay attention more. You stop asking, "What's wrong with you?" and start saying, "I know this feels hard for you." That is not weakness, it is strength, because it takes courage to love from awareness instead of control. It is the difference between love that grasps and love that understands. Possession says, "I'll love you when you satisfy my needs." Understanding says, "I'll love you while you learn to meet your own." That is mature love, conscious love, the only kind that can truly reach an avoidant heart. And here is the beautiful part. When you stop trying to fix them, they begin to look at you differently. You become safe. You become the quiet peace they never knew they were missing. And that calm draws them nearer. Not because you pleaded, but because you allowed. You stopped hunting for love and started embodying it. You let your steady presence speak louder than words. Remember this truth. No one heals through pressure. People heal through presence. When someone feels accepted as they are, their body loosens. Their mind settles. They begin to connect closeness with calm, not fear. And that is when real healing begins. Not because you repaired them, but because your acceptance showed them they were never truly broken. That is the deeper truth about love. Many of us grow up believing that loving someone means changing them or shaping them into someone better. But grown love is not about reshaping someone to fit our comfort. It is about standing beside them long enough for them to unfold naturally. You teach through your presence. You show them that peaceful love exists. You become the steady energy they once believed didn't exist. Sometimes that means speaking less and doing less. It means keeping your calm even when they pull away, because every time you react to their distance with fear, you reinforce their worry. But when you respond with grounded self-respect, you teach them safety. So, when you say, "I see you, and I'm not here to fix you," you are not giving up. You are growing up. You are choosing connection instead of control. You are saying, "I love you enough to let you be yourself, even when it makes me uncomfortable." And that kind of love is strength, not surrender. Because the truth is simple. You cannot heal someone who does not feel safe, but you can help them feel safe enough to heal on their own. It all begins with your energy, your boundaries, your understanding that love is not rescuing, it is respecting. So the next time you feel like chasing, explaining, or fixing, pause, breathe. Remember that acceptance is not weakness. It is one of the strongest forms of love. If you can hold that kind of space long enough, one day the avoidant who once ran from closeness will look back and understand you were never a threat. You were home. There comes a particular moment that changes everything. When you love an avoidant, it's the moment you stop needing them to choose you. The moment you truly understand that love built on chasing isn't love, it is fear. Avoidant people do not fall for those who chase them. They fall for those who stand steady in their worth. Because for someone who spent years running from emotional chaos, calm confidence feels like safety. When you finally stop chasing, something inside you shifts completely. You stop reaching out to prove your worth or to get constant reassurance. You start living your worth. You begin sending a quiet message, "I will be okay whether you stay or go." And that quiet truth speaks louder than anything you could ever say. It carries the energy of emotional independence. It is the silent message the avoidant needs but does not know how to request. The truth is, the avoidant does not intentionally want to hurt you. They are not withdrawing to punish you or play games. What they are really doing is protecting themselves from a level of emotional closeness that feels too heavy to manage. They learned early in life that getting too close often meant losing control, so distance became their form of safety. But here is where everything starts to transform. When you stop reacting to their withdrawal, when your stability no longer depends on what they do or say, you change the whole emotional dynamic. Because for an avoidant, control is everything. They control closeness, timing, and the pace of connection because they have never trusted love to be stable. Yet when you remain centered, when you refuse to get pulled into their emotional patterns, something powerful happens. You become the peace they never had. You are no longer part of the emotional chaos that shapes their world. And that is when curiosity begins to replace fear. Think about it. People are drawn to what they cannot easily control. Your calm becomes the one thing they cannot predict, cannot manipulate, cannot shake. That stability, that quiet peace becomes magnetic. Because for the avoidant, peace is unfamiliar, and humans are always drawn to what feels new yet safe at the same time. Without raising your voice or explaining anything, you are showing them that love does not require losing themselves. You are offering a new kind of connection, steady, grounded, and free from pressure. This is where love gains depth. Real love is not dependency. It is two whole people choosing each other, not two halves clinging out of fear. And when you truly embody the mindset of, "I'll be fine without you," you are not rejecting the avoidant. You are honoring the truth of love itself. Because love that demands is not love, it is attachment. Real love allows. It gives space. It stays strong even in uncertainty. That is freedom. And the avoidant feels that energy deeply. They notice when you stop explaining yourself. They notice when you stop seeking validation. They notice when your peace stands firm no matter what they do, not as someone chasing them, but as someone who understands them on a deeper level. And that is powerful because an avoidant's greatest fear is being swallowed by someone else's emotions. When you show them you can love without losing yourself, you become the safest person they have ever known. It's ironic, isn't it? What draws the avoidant back isn't your pursuit. It's your calm. It's your decision to stop running after them, stop pleading, stop performing just to feel seen. That is what shakes them in a good and surprising way. Because deep inside, they never wanted to stay in control forever. They want rest. They want to feel safe enough to open up without disappearing into someone else. Your calm confidence gives them that sense of safety. Psychologically, this shift is deep. When you stop depending on their approval, you move from an anxious nervous system to a regulated one. You shift from emotional reaction to emotional stability. And when your nervous system settles, theirs naturally begins to mirror it. This is what psychologists call co-regulation. When one person's calm energy helps the other relax enough to drop their guard, you are teaching the avoidant how to feel safe in love without saying a single word. That is the true power of emotional steadiness. You are no longer chasing reactions. You're leading with quiet certainty. You're saying through your energy, "I choose peace instead of panic." And that energy speaks louder than anything you could ever explain. It builds a sense of respect. And deep down, respect is what every avoidant values most. They want to feel that the person beside them is not depending on them for emotional survival. That is what wins their trust. That is what opens their heart. The truth is, avoidants don't want someone who collapses every time they take space. They want someone steady, someone who doesn't fall apart when they need distance, someone whose worth is rooted in presence, not in closeness alone. That is what makes you unforgettable. That is what makes you stand out in a world full of noise, neediness, and fear. And here's the point that matters. You don't do this to get them back. You do it because you have grown. Because now you understand that calm is more powerful than pursuit, and self-worth speaks louder than begging for attention. Whether they return or not stops being the main point. The real victory is that you've learned to stand in your own emotional strength. When you reach that level of self-respect, you stop performing for love. You stop trying to earn what should come freely. You stop chasing people who mistake peace for boredom and love for control. And when that inner shift happens, everything in your relationships transforms because you have transformed. So if you're wondering what the avoidant secretly needs to hear once you stop chasing, it's this: I care about you, but I will still be okay without you. That truth frees both of you, because love isn't proven through pursuit. It's shown through peace. There is a quiet moment of deep understanding that arrives when you realize this truth. Love is not a cage, it is a choice. And for the avoidant, that is not an easy lesson. Their entire experience with love has been shaped through fear. Fear of losing control, fear of being consumed, fear of repeating the same emotional chaos closeness once created for them. To their nervous system, love has never felt like freedom. It has felt like confinement. But when you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop proving your worth over and over, something remarkable begins. You rewrite what love means for them. Your calmness, your silence, your stable energy begins to send a new message. I'm not here to trap you. I'm here to choose you freely, and you may choose me freely too. That's when everything shifts. For the first time, love starts to feel safe. Avoidants don't respond to pressure, they respond to peace. They don't open up when you insist on closeness. They open up when they believe connection won't cost them their identity, and that is exactly what your stillness shows them. It teaches that love does not need control or force. It can exist in open space, alive, real, gentle, and not suffocating. Think about that. How many times have you held so tightly that you lost your own peace? How many times have you mistaken intensity for true intimacy? The avoidant teaches you something meaningful, not through their words, but through experience. That deep connection only grows when two people feel free enough to stay because they want to, not because they fear losing each other. That is the paradox. The tighter you hold, the more they drift away. But the moment you let go, not out of anger but out of trust, you create space where love can breathe again, and that is what avoidants long for deep inside. They want to know they can love without being controlled. They want to know they can stay and still feel like themselves. This speaks to a basic human need for autonomy. Everyone needs to feel like they have agency over their own life. When you stop trying to manage how the relationship unfolds, you return that sense of freedom to both of you. You allow them to choose, and at the same time, you reclaim your own power. This is where balance returns. What many people overlook is that avoidants don't crave distance as much as they crave freedom within connection. They want to love without losing independence. They want to share closeness without feeling erased. When your energy shifts from control to quiet confidence, you show them that love doesn't demand the loss of autonomy. It means sharing it. And that is what pulls them back. Not your tears, not your messages, not your desperation, but your peace. Your calm detachment becomes the proof that you aren't trying to own them, only to understand them. You're no longer saying, I need you to feel whole. You're saying, I see you clearly. And that recognition touches something deeper than physical attraction. It touches trust. Philosophically, love without freedom dissolves into possession. But love with freedom becomes real connection. And that is the kind of love that lasts. When you stop defining love through control or fear, you give each person the room to show up fully. You stop pretending. You stop trying to shape outcomes to feel safe. Instead, you build a bond rooted in respect, and respect is where deep intimacy grows. That is why the most powerful thing you can ever say to an avoidant is, "You're free to go, and I still wish you peace." Because that is not weakness. It is strength. It shows a kind of love that doesn't need to hold someone tight to feel secure. It says, I trust you to make your own choices, and I trust myself to be okay no matter what you decide. That is emotional maturity. That is growth. You're not abandoning them. You're giving them the chance to experience genuine love. Love without fear, without pressure, without manipulation, and that is when something amazing happens. The moment they realize you never tried to own them is the moment they start to miss you, because they finally understand your love never stole their freedom. It gave them peace. In that quiet space, they reflect. They remember that your love never demanded, never chased, never begged. It simply existed. And that kind of love stays with a person long after everything else fades. It lingers because it was honest. It was steady. It was true. When you understand that love is a choice, not a cage, you stop fighting for control. You stop playing emotional chess. You begin standing in truth. You learn that the most powerful love doesn't cling, it allows. Because freedom doesn't destroy love. Freedom reveals its purity. So the next time your heart wants to chase, explain, justify, or prove something, pause. Remember this. You are not here to force someone to stay. You are here to grow into someone peaceful enough to let them go if they must. That is real strength. That is real love. And when love is rooted in freedom, it never has to be chased. It returns on its own. Because in the end, the love meant for you will never require control. It will choose you willingly, fully, and without fear.